and why I'm not going until I know all that happened. Eva Smith lost her job with Burling and Company because the strike failed, and they were determined not to have another one. At last she found another job, under what name I don't know, in a big shop, and had to leave there because you were annoyed with yourself, and passed the annoyance on to her. Now she had to try something else, so first she changed her name to Daisy Renton. Here we can see the inspector bluntly point out Sheila's cruelty and selfishness. Gerald's response to hearing the name Daisy Renton is shown in the stage directions, startled, and then, "What?" His actions reveal that he too is involved, as this name has triggered a very visible reaction. The inspector responds steadily, "I said she changed her name to Daisy Renton," obviously trying to gauge Gerald's reaction. Gerald attempts to pull himself together, according to the stage directions. Then he asks, "Do you mind if I give myself a drink, Sheila?" Here we can see his preoccupation with being polite and adhering to social etiquette. However, we can also see that he is clearly unnerved, suggesting his involvement. Therefore, the audience is able to predict that he knew this Daisy Renton and was involved with her somehow, possibly predicting that he has been unfaithful to Sheila, that is why he was so busy all summer. Then we can see Sheila merely nodding, still staring at him, as he goes across to the Tantalus on the sideboard for a whisky. The stage directions here suggest that Sheila is once again being incredibly observant, soaking in his reactions to try and interpret them for herself. The inspector asks, "Where is your father, Miss Burling?" Sheila replies with, "He went into the drawing room to tell my mother what was happening here. Eric, take the inspector along to the drawing room." As Eric moves, the inspector looks from Sheila to Gerald and then goes out with Eric. Here we can see that he is incredibly perceptive, knowing that the two of them want time to talk about his involvement. Sheila responds rather sarcastically with, "Well, Gerald," obviously expecting him to try and justify or explain how he knows Daisy Renton. Gerald tries to smile, according to the stage directions, emphasising that it is something incredibly unpleasant. However, he replies with, "Well, what, Sheila?" which emphasises the clear gender divide, the fact that women were much more inferior to men during this time. Sheila asks, "How did you come to know this girl, Eva Smith?" and he replies with, "I didn't." Here we can see him being dishonest and trying to cover it up. But she rather astutely replies with, "Daisy Renton then, it's the same thing." Gerald again tries to cover up his involvement, emphasising the fact that he is dishonest and cannot be trusted. He says, "Why should I have known her?" Sheila replies rather bluntly with, "Oh, don't be stupid, we haven't much time," again emphasising the theme of time. "You gave yourself away as soon as he mentioned her other name," again suggesting that she is an incredibly perceptive, astute character. "All right, I knew her. Let's leave it at that." Here his tone is obviously sharp as he wants to avoid it. In fact, it's almost aggressive. We can see that this is because he does not want to reveal to her the extent of his involvement with her. Sheila replies with, "We can't leave it at that," showing that she is a character who thirsts for the truth or moral enlightenment. Gerald, according to the stage directions, approaching her, "Now listen, darling." This is again said in a somewhat threatening tone and can be viewed as aggressive, further emphasising the theme of gender and the fact that women were much more inferior to men, and it was frowned upon for women to even think of challenging their fiancés or their husbands. Sheila, however, is unfazed by this. She reads his behaviour in a perceptive manner. "No, that's no use. You not only knew her, but you knew her very well. Otherwise, you wouldn't look so guilty about it. When did you first get to know her?" Then we can see through the stage directions that he has guilty silence. He does not reply. Sheila continues her line of questioning. "Was it after she left Millwards, when she changed her name, as he said, and began to lead a different sort of life. Again, we can see the euphemism here for prostitution. Were you seeing her last spring and summer, during that time when you hardly came near me and said you were so busy? Were you? Again, we can see how perceptive she is, and we also see that Gerald is corrupt, engaging in infidelity. Yes, of course you were. Gerald admits the relationship with Eva or Daisy, saying, I'm sorry, Sheila, but it was all over and done with last summer. I hadn't set eyes on the girl for at least 6 months. I don't come into this suicide business. Here, like Berling, we can see that he refuses to accept his responsibility. Sheila replies with, I thought I didn't half an hour ago, which again reminds us that Gerald will be forced to see how he is responsible.